when you say science-based strategies that you're
Mhm.
utilizing for these events, you have any examples, any specifics that we can kind of comb through?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I share those, little facts and arguments in favor of science-based solutions all the time. So one of my favorite examples of a science-based solution is about feedback. So this is a big challenge for event organizers. When we create event, we want some feedback about it, right? So a lot of the times it's a challenge to get the high quality feedback and to actually get the great response rate. So how do we go around it? Usually event organizers offer incentives, for example, and usually they don't work because if you offer, like, it's usually monetary incentives like a $5 Amazon card, right? Or even if it's like $100 Amazon card, people don't care because actually, if you think about it, their time is more valuable. This is what they think about their time. So they just don't have time and don't have motivation to complete that feedback form. Now, there was research done a few years ago about using the word advice instead of feedback. So instead of asking for feedback, if you ask for advice about your event, and that was confirmed in the research experiments, people are more likely to respond. So there was a high response rate and there was a high quality feedback in that research. So now that's the practical implication for event planners. If you ask not for feedback but for advice, you're more likely to receive what you want from people. Now, event planners that I worked with who implemented this recommendation also reported high quality feedback. And that's one of my favorite examples, again, just because it shows how simple those science-based solutions can be. It doesn't require a lot of money. It doesn't require any other resources. You just change one word and the outcomes are much better.
What a good example, right?
It is.
Feedback is something that, we work with corporate event marketers on their trade shows, their events, their brand activations, right? And feedback is something that they are always looking for, from like a brand awareness score to how did we do? What did you think of the experience? So very interesting how language and the way you say something can
Yeah.
change response. That is so simple. It's stupid. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
It
It's
is
so
ridiculous.
simple.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You're
know.
just
I
changing
know.
one word, but you're doing
Exactly.
everything the same. So just think about, like, even applying further things to that and maybe sort of the progress that you could get. When you say like science-based solutions, right? That's a good example. What challenges at events do you think can be solved with more psychological science-based solutions, for event organizers, for event hosts and event marketers that are running very big events with, I don't care if it's 75 intimate people or it's a 1,000, right?
Absolutely. No, it doesn't matter. And I think it wouldn't be an exaggeration from me to say that basically every single challenge that you face when you plan an event can be solved and can be approached from this perspective, from behavioral science perspective, because again, it's all about people, right? So whether it's about engagement, whether it's about survey response rate, or whether it's about effectiveness of the learning program, every basic element of the event design can be approached by behavioral lens.
How about signups? I mean, that feels to me like, just from talking to event marketers, right? Like, they have stakeholders they're going back to: CMO, CFO, CEO, right? Their executive team. If they're going to throw a big event, they want numbers. I mean, that's the end of the day, they want numbers. So, how do you get sign up? Is there, I don't want to say a hack, because that term has absolutely just been stepped over, rolled over, but what are the ways with a behavioral science or psychology to
Yeah.
maybe be able to get more signups?
Yeah. And I love that you mentioned hacks, because that's not the way how to apply event psychology. And a lot of people do this mistake and they think that, oh, if we get this little hack applied, that's going to solve our problem. But in fact, you need to understand and apply it in a cohesive way, in a comprehensive way. So as a system, you cannot really just use it as patches, to solve some specific issue that you're facing right now, but rather you need to understand that you are dealing with humans, and humans have some rules by which they work. For example, if we are talking
what are
about,
those rules? Yeah, what are those
yeah,
rules? I want to
if
know
we are
those.
talking about sign-ups, so we are talking really about motivation and about getting attention. So we are talking about not the actual numbers in the beginning, at least. You need to understand the core behind it, right? What are the psychological mechanisms that drive people's motivation? So for example, if we are talking about sign up, maybe you need to go back and talk to your audience or explore your audience to understand them better, and what kind of things that are universal to human beings drive that decision to sign up to your event. Maybe they want to feel special. And that's one of the core, again, psychological mechanisms that drive a lot of our decisions. We want to feel special. So maybe you can suggest something that make them feel special, and that will drive their decision to attend. You know what I mean? So those are sort of systematic changes that you need to apply based on what we know about human beings. So sense of belonging again. Do I feel like I'm the part of that event? What kind of things have been done before by the event organizers to make people feel like they are part of this event? They belong to it. Right. So those kind of things we just start talking about, but in fact, they've always been there. Right. So it's just that you need to catch up and pick up on those things, universal core mechanisms. And then if you start from that place, then you will be able to create some solutions, practical solutions that work for your event, for your audience.